Yeah, like I told you, I grew up in Uganda, man. Spent most of my time in Uganda, and I used my friends. Like I told you, I've had friends for a while. We've been friends for almost 15 years, and we used to live in an apartment back at home in Uganda, and we like had a shared kitchen. And every time is cooking, anyone is cooking, you just go in there in the kitchen, just hang out, have a chat, and all of that. So there's a day when I had a very crazy day in the city. Um, I don't even know what exactly happened, but I came home with a story that was funny as hell. And I don't remember the story, and that's the sad part. So I woke up to my friend, he's cooking, and I just get the stool, I just sit right there and start talking to him, telling him all these funny things that happened to me in the city. And then he's like, man, you're so funny, you need to try out stand up. And I don't know. I just looked at it, and a few months before that, I had this was June 2016, but a few months before that, I came across a DVD. Yeah, we still use DVDs. We're not all moving at the same pace. Some of you all are faster than us. This is a third world country. Just give me time. So I came across this DVD. This 2015 December, came across this DVD. It's called Lost in Translation. It was Trevor Noah. I just saw him there with his mic and all of that.
I saw that recently. That was hilarious.
Oh, it was hilarious, bro. It was hilarious.
And it's so old. But I saw it for the first time, and I'm so glad I saw it for the first time this year.
Amazing. I grabbed it, went home, I watched it. I loved it so much, but never thought about doing stand-up. So when my friend told me to do stand-up, I added the two pieces together, and I immediately got a vision of what I would want to do it as, and that's what made it easier for me to get in. It's not like I was gonna find something new that I didn't know about. I'd watched this, and someone told me, let me try it, and I was like, oh, I can do it like this, and then I just went in and tried. Walked up to this theater. The theater sits about 1,000 people, man.
So how long after did you go like, I'm gonna go try it? Did you have to get convinced?
The next week.
So the next week, not much convincing.
Not much convincing. It just clicked. I was in a period in my life where I was looking for something next to do, man.
Okay.
Like I used to work, and I used to be like a broker in a furniture store, and I was 19, 18 to 19 there. I was trying to figure out. I was at the university trying to figure out a lot of stuff in my life. This is the time a few years before then. That's the time that the 2013 war happened in South Sudan.
Yeah.
And when I was working in the furniture store, a lot of South Sudanese flocked like to South Sudan for refuge and all of that. And I sold so much furniture while I was there. I was making so much money. And one of my bosses, when he saw how much money I made, he went like, "Oh, this is great. South Sudanese should continue fighting." And that hit me, and I was like, "Nah, it's not a place I have to be. Like, I don't like it here." And I started thinking about just quitting. I needed the money, but I wanted to leave that place. I need a habit to replace a habit. So when I go to 2016, the June, and then I got my friend to tell me that, I just got a habit. I'm just like, you know what? Let me just flip this. This is what I want to do now, and that's why I quickly got into it, just like that. My life was there. I need something else, and I got in.
I love that. And as that happens all the time, people have this thing where like, oh, I want to try this. But sometimes the first time they try, they go like, nah, this is not it. Did you know when you first got up there for the first time that this is it?
Yeah, my first time on stage was so good. It was so good. I performed at the University, Makerere University, prime time show every Saturday. They have like about 500 people. So I had a mentor that helped me write my first 5 minutes. Timothy from Uganda helped me put together my first 5 minutes of jokes, and me and him used to hang out every day because we lived in the same neighborhood. So we would sit down, chat, then go home. So he helped me so much, and he helped me find my voice, because I was looking for a voice and I didn't know what I wanted to do it. Like I knew I wanted to do it, but I didn't know who I was and all of that. I'm a South Sudanese kid that grew up in Uganda. Everything about me is Ugandan, and I was out there performing like a Ugandan comedian, and he's like, "Nah, you're not. You're not supposed to be like these people here. You're different. You have a market out there that you can go and explore and all of that." And when I had that, I started talking to my South Sudanese uncles, my friends, just trying to fit back into my culture and my people. So I finally found a voice, and it was so easy for me to see myself at the top. Like it was so easy. I would just look around and I'm like, nah, it's just a few of us. I can easily get to the top. Kept pushing a little bit more, and I was just there.
I love that. And it's so good that you actually wanted to go back and learn a bit more about your culture so you could use that as material.
Yeah.
I watched a few stuff on YouTube of your stand-up, and you moved around a lot. You went to Kenya, and then you went to South Africa at one point.
Yeah.
What was your favorite location that you you performed at?
I want to say Kenya, man.
Kenya.
I want to say Kenya.
Was that the one that was on YouTube?
Yeah, the one on YouTube.
That one was hilarious.
Yeah. I think yeah. Maybe I have more of Kenyan on YouTube.
Okay.
I don't know, but yeah, I think so. It was one. It was a lot of. It was like about 5,000 people. That gig. I want to say Kenya because Kenya, it was my breakthrough, but it was also like my lowest moment. I got that gig when I was so broke, like I was doing so terrible. Like I was 20 years and I got that gig. I did a gig around the country with some headliner in Uganda, and he watched me for the first time, and he was going to Rwanda to do a show, and he put me on his tour. We went to Rwanda. I did the show in Rwanda. Some other guy spotted me and he said, you should come to Kenya. There's a gig happening in Kenya. And mind you, all of these things are not getting paid. I'm not getting transport or anything like that. But I wanted to get it. I wanted to push myself. When I did the Kenyan gig, I had about $50 to my name. And when I say $50, I mean, if you look back everywhere, that's the only thing I have around me. There's nothing else I have around me. That's the only money I had. And for you to go to Kenya as a South Sudanese citizen, you have to pay. By then, the visa was $100. That's just a visa. And that's for you to just get into Kenya. And if you come back to Uganda, you have to pay another $100 because I'm not a Ugandan citizen. And then I have to pay for my transport and all that, a bus fare. But I didn't have any of that money. And I thought about it, and this always like, it's like whenever I talk to people and they're like, oh, I need this and I can't get it, I'm like, no, you can't. It's how much you need it that dictates how you're gonna get it. I needed it, and what I did, I walked up to the port in where they give out travel documents. Walked up to them and I told them I'm Ugandan. The lady didn't believe. I went to the room, I looked at the lady who was like a mother and all of that. I walked up to her because I knew that was my weak spot. She's gonna help me, and I told her I'm Ugandan, and she didn't believe me. I spoke Luganda to her, and at some point she ended up believing me and gave me the travel document, which meant that I wasn't gonna pay the $200 for crossing the two countries. I was gonna go for free because I'm a Ugandan citizen now. I crossed to that side, so I have like, for the document costed me like $20. I have $30 to my name now, and then I was gonna book a bus fare. I booked one. The one I booked was cancelled because everything was full. And I couldn't get my money back, but they could put me in another bus. They said they could put me in another bus, but they couldn't find a bus. And then I found some guy there was a cargo bus somewhere there, and I spoke with the guy, and then I told the guy I was supposed to be on this bus, but I want to go through. He was a very nice guy. I forgot his name, but I call him, he used to call me Africa. He's you know these black people who are very, very Pan-African, like they're doing too much. That was him.
Yeah.
Every time he sees me, he's like, Africa. You're the true definition of Africa. And I'm like, what about you, bro? You're literally from here. We're not even in America or anything like that. He was just that energy, man.
Yeah.
But he just liked me. He liked my attitude, everything. He says, jump on the bus. It was like the four of us in the bus. 3 tan boys, the driver, then 5 of us, then myself. The whole time I'm just listening to this guy tell me about Thomas Sankara, Mandela, Nelson Mandela, Dr. John Garang, and I was listening to these stories for like 12 hours. Yeah, but I wanted to get there. So we go to Kenya. The guy that had booked me, I called him, I'm here. He accepted. He took me to the show. And yeah, I just jumped on the shows like a bunch of other African comedians, jumped on the show like 5,000 people, and I smashed it. And I felt so great after that. That's why it's my favorite moment. Felt so great. After all I went through, I finally reaped what I sowed, and the show was my breakthrough. Everyone saw it, so many followers and everything.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. If you liked that episode, you can watch the full episode somewhere around here. I'm not sure where yet. But if you liked it, make sure you like it, subscribe, and join us in the next episode. Peace. We are out.